Well, so on to the most awaited category in the men's division, the super heavyweights, with the champion of the world, Rezazadeh of Iran, the big favourite, not only to win, but also to extend his world best marks. Well, onto the stage, Artem Udashin for the Ukraine. One of two Ukrainians in the lineup. World bronze medalist a year earlier in Warsaw, behind Rezazadeh. 32.5 kilos separating them on that occasion.
Very impressive and comfortable starter there with two.
And the competitiveness of the super heavyweights has really been one of the striking features of world weightlifting in the last couple of years. And someone looking on from the audience, the great Vasily Alexeyev, one of the great, if not the greatest super heavyweight of all time. Certainly the man who put the name of weightlifting onto a world stage during his era of lifting. But Jabba, a man who tipped by some to really give the champion a fight of it tonight, David. Jabba Salam, formerly Marchukov of Bulgaria, 28 years of age, and opening up also on 200. Fourth in the Olympic Games in Sydney, and world champion 2 seasons ago when he beat off Metriakov and Chemerkin of Russia. And a very promising start by the Qatar lifter.
Not for their first attempts, for their last attempt. So the depth of this class is quite extraordinary, and I wouldn't be surprised if Rezazadeh, either today or at the Olympic Games, doesn't get it all his own way.
Well, here is Hossein Rezazadeh, the owner of the current world snatch record at 213 kilos. And this is him to get a score on the board. First attempt, of course. Real personality. Big superstar in his own right. Plenty of Iranian support in the hall because, of course, Vancouver, one of the great cosmopolitan cities of the world. And was there ever a question? Absolutely not. But I was saying earlier on that, you know, we haven't really seen him pushed in the clean and jerk, and, you know, hopefully we might see just that today.
Yes, all his lifts in the past have looked comfortable, but of course it's very difficult to know how much further somebody can go.
Well, here's almost the baby of the party. Well, he is in terms of age. 21-year-old Velishko Sholakov of Bulgaria. And he is a big boy, isn't he? 155 kilos of him. The bar could be even wider for him, couldn't it? He can't get his arms any wider out to the extremities. Excellent snatch. 2 or 3 steps forward, but no problem with strength there, as long as he... But already looking like a guy you wouldn't want to mess with. And this does demonstrate, David, you know, how the Bulgarians, despite all their problems of, you know, 3 top athletes being suspended, you know, they've come back. Milan Dobrev winning, you know, the 105 championship for them, and they've got a development program. They've got young lifters, whereas we haven't seen that with the likes of the Greeks. We haven't seen that. You know, where's this next generation?
Well, that's right. I mean, I can remember about 15 years ago, the English team, or the British team, actually beating the Greek team at the EC Championships, and then of course they went and bought a load of athletes, and rather than, as you say, having a development program where they've got new athletes coming through, they're spending all their money trying to keep the ones that they've got in good health. But of course, in a couple of years' time, they'll be left without a team. So, 5th man in a row to snatch this 200.
He's got an incredible total posted, David, 467.5 kilos, which he apparently did in the national championships, which was a test event, so it doesn't count as any sort of official record. But if you look at 467.5 and you look at Rezazade's posted total of 470, well, you know, they'd be absolutely on terms. So the #1 American now, Shane Haman.
Big finish, Shane.
Not had a great start.
Being coached there by Dragomir Chirozalin.
Yeah, but he's under pressure, David. He needs this badly.
Well, he's done 192.5, so he does have one on the board. He's fouled with this once, but well, unfortunately, has now failed with it twice. So
Say to a good super heavyweight, if they could find, you know, if they could. I'm not saying he's not a good one, but you know what I mean. He's not in Rezazade's class. I'm not trying to be, you know, sort of impolite or anything like that. But there is a big difference between him. You know, he's 31 years of age. He's, you know, how much improvement can he have left in him? Now Chigachev, by contrast, David, 115 kilos in body weight. I mean, it's unfair, isn't it? Having to fight someone 155 kilos.
Yes, it's a shame, because this man, I guess, kilo for kilo, is by far the best man in the class. But of course, he's stuck in no man's land, because we've got a 105 kilo class, which is far too heavy for, being 10 kilos over, and we've got a super heavyweight class, which in reality is too light for. But of course, with the introduction of the women's weightlifting, the men were told to cut the classes down. So he's either going to have to lose some weight, and you know, he's not carrying any body fat, so he doesn't have that much to lose, or he's got to gain some weight.
Usually does pretty well in the snatch phase, and get it off. What a pity. I was going to say, usually does hiccup at a rather important time. Almost done the work.
But he'll get another try.
Meanwhile, Udashin out for his second of 205. Well, he looked really, really good, David, the first time.
Yes, opened, as you said, right on his personal best. So this will be a new personal record by 5 kilos, and still has a lift remaining after this one.
Yeah, I mean, he lost out 10 kilos to Rezazadeh in the snatch phase of the World Championships last year, so he needs to stay close. We know that if he wants to be a contender for the world title, he's going to have to lift more than that. Well, this is already a good step forward. If he could get 210, you know, Rezazadeh isn't going to be that far away from him. Now Jabber, also important. Now he's done 210 in his time. But really, this is what we need to see from Udashin and the likes of Jabber, is good lifts going in, so that we can have a big fight in the second half.
Well, that's good. So Jabber now takes the lead, because he, of course, is
Light for Team Bulgaria. It's all right when you're alone walking down that little corridor, but when you've got two squads of these two heavyweight men, I mean, it's just like in boxing, isn't it? You know, the fighter and the corner men. But, you know, on the lighter weights, you often just see the odd coach or whatever, but here the supers have always seemed to have got 2 or 3 men with them. Now, Cholakov for Bulgaria.
Yes, this exciting new youngster, going for 205 on the snatch, so he's looking good. He's doing well, isn't he?
He's doing tremendously well, because, you know, this would put him something like 15 kilos up on his PB, which would be a good achievement, but not in a way surprising, because, as we've said so many times, at his sort of age, these sort of improvements are not unusual. But nonetheless, would be excellent. Probably not under a great deal of pressure, David, because the expectations wouldn't be there that he'd be, you know, fighting for an overall medal or heavy, so that's a real factor. So it'll be Skarbati. Well, on the basis that we always like a good little un to beat a good big un, this is where we want Chigichev to actually pick up this bar. Well, he's done it, and it's tremendous, David. I mean, it's really, really good lifting. Excellent lifting there by Chigichev, carrying, you know, no fat as well.
Yes, great lifter. And he's, as I say, it's a shame that he's kind of in no man's land. I mean, if there was a 120 kilo class or 110 kilo class like there used to be even, I'm sure nobody would be able to touch him.
Well, now to another of the big boys, 155.90 kilos the body weight. And as ever, Hossein Rezazadeh looking for a little extra help here to get this 207.5 kilo weight above his head. That's the lead, David. That is the lead. So the Ronnie Vella unable to participate in this super heavyweight. The German who won the Olympic title back in 1992 and was also an Olympic medalist in 1988, 1996 and 2000. A few problems.
Yes, pulled a lat muscle under his arm.
Which is so disappointing because his build-up had been so excellent. So best wishes to Ronnie for recovery.
But this man now trying a full 10 kilos over his previous personal best, and of course this to take the lead.
And he's got it, you know, if he stands up, and he does. And Artem Udashin of the Ukraine has got 210. Nailed it. Well, that's a gauntlet thrown down. We're only 3 kilos short of the world record, and Artem Udashin with 3 perfect lifts, a new personal best, and he's 10 kilos up on where he was a year ago, so he's gone 2.5 kilos ahead of Rezazadeh. Well, this is really a big boys game.
Yes, so Rezazadeh having to try and win it on his 3rd attempt, the snatch phase anyway.
And still Salam Jabbar though, David, of Qatar, who's paced himself pretty well. Remember, did 205 having opened on 200, and here he is 127.44. so 210 means that Rezazadeh would have to go to 212.5 at least to take the title, the snatch gold medal, which of course is only just a fraction below his world record. So in a way, I hope that Jabbar can do this.
Yes, this would really put the pressure on. So 210, this for the lead at the halfway stage.
Well, this is terrific. We've had such poor sequences in so many of the men's competitions, David, but this is, again, what we hope for, which is really competitive lifting at the highest level. And we are now on the threshold of the world record, and there's only one guy now who can really change this. You've got Jabbar, who's gone into the lead ahead of Udashin on 210, so that's the situation, the gold and silver medal situation. Rezazadeh, who's on 207.5, has got to take 212.5 to take the gold. And I guess, David, there's every possibility he might go for a little icing on the cake.
Well, he doesn't need, I mean, he's been put under real pressure here. He doesn't need to go for a world record. He needs to go for 212.5.
He's going for it.
Decided that he wants the world record. He must think that he's capable of it.
Oh, I've got a feeling that at his level, the extra half kilo isn't going to make much difference to what he's done. But no, that's exactly the point, David, isn't it? In the snatch phase, if your technique deserts you, no one's there to forgive you. Unlike the clean and jerk, where you've got a little bit more margin for error, but not in the snatch.
So, Rezazadeh down in third place, but of course, still the clean and jerks to come.
Well, I think that's fascinating.